What's happening, guys? Cap4 here, and welcome to another week of the WPE League, the WPE League, as today we're taking on the Romford Rotoms, coached by Karen. They are 2-3 right now, so I'm wondering if we can continue our ways of winning against this fellow over here. He's got quite the scary team. He's got Tapu paired up with Rain from Pelipper. That's always scary, just because of Thunder and Life Orb, and good times, good times. He has the Garchomp, Mimikyu, Metagross, Lucario, Empoleon, Noivern. He's got some potent choices that he can pick and different options. Fortunately for me, that sort of opened up a window for me because it allowed me to bring in my ground types and really allowed me to bring in a sort of sand team, that being just like Metagross, Sandslash, and Tyranitar. Those guys really do appreciate the sand, and it really does a lot of work against his team. Thanks to Sandslash's Sand Rush ability. So hopefully that can sweep late game. Tyranitar is just meant to set up Stealth Rocks. If it can do a bit more than that, then that's awesome. If it does less, I just wanted to set up Stealth Rocks and keep the sand up, so that's why I included the Smooth Rock on this fellow over here. We also got our brand new Pokemon over here, Weezing, as the main reason why we got Weezing is because I needed a defensive check to some mons like fighting types or dragon types. I need something that can really absorb those hits, and Weezing is one of those ones that can do that. And he did bring in Lucario, he did bring in the Garchomp, so Weezing definitely has things that it can check and put some work in, being able to burn those mons. That would be just simply fantastic. Shaman is just my specially defensive wall. I would put it up against a Pelipper any time of the week, which is a bit odd because of Hurricane, but I would do it. That's why I built it. He doesn't have any grass type, so Leaf Seed is going to be good on this. And I did not bring Synthesis on this bond because of Rain and Sand. It decreases the amount of HP you restore with weather, so I figured it wasn't a good bring to bring, and I decided to just bring Giga Drain over the other moves and whatnot. And then we have our Choice Scarf Keldeo over here. Choice Scarf Keldeo puts in a lot of work because it outspeeds everything other than a Choice Scarf Tapu and a Choice Scarf Noivern, which is something that I was highly doubting that he would bring in. So I figured, you know what, if things get out of hand or something gets a bit too crazy, then we've got Keldeo over here to just simply finish the job off and just put a lot of pressure on his team. But anywho, right away I see that Pelipper. I'm just like, man, I knew Rain's gonna be coming. Pelipper is perhaps one of the best choices to lead off with, or Empoleon. Either way, I'm happy because I get my hazards up and I get the sand up. That's something that's really important to me. So I decided to make the decision to lead off with my sand. If he leads off with Pelipper, I'm slower. I should be slower. And we can sort of get the weather war going on over here. So Pelipper is gonna be, no, this is no. So I sent out my Pokemon over here. He sends out his Big Bird, Pelipper, and I'm like, this works out perfectly, because as you can tell right here, boom, Drizzle activates first. I'm slower than him, and my Sandstream will activate at this moment. So I get my weather that I want up, and my special defense is also increased. So I'm in a pretty good situation, so I can set up my hazards over here. Turn 1, I'm just going for hazards. He sends out his Empoleon, which is pretty okay for me. And at this moment I can just click Earthquake to see if this is his Defogger. If he goes for Scald, Flash Cannon or something, this is damage that I want. I am faster than this one, so this works out for me. And that does a lot of damage. That does a decent amount of damage. That's damage I can live with. This is his Defog over here, and I decide, you know, I think he's just gonna switch out at this point and try to preserve this Empoleon, as it's his only way of really keeping hazards off of his side of the field. So I decided, let's keep on applying that pressure. Let's make him click Defog and bring out Empoleon to take out those rocks. So it was a win-win situation for me. I do have a check, that being the Shaman, and I felt like I'm in a fairly good position at this moment, so I'm just going to switch out right into Shaman, my Boop, my Boopers over here, and Boop can just simply absorb this Scald that it's gonna take, and I can simply fire off a Leaf Seed. At this moment, I just want to scope what sort of damage this thing can do. No matter what it is, it won't be able to one-hit KO me unless it's Choice Specs, and it's definitely not Life Orb because I didn't see that. So I figured you know, I'm in a good position right now. I can just simply go for the lead seed, absorb some HP, get some information. He does have the tailwind, which is frightening because that sort of that makes a lot of his Pokemon a lot quicker than mine, and good bring on his part because he does need the speed for those turns, and it's going to be really valuable for him to maintain the speed in this match. As for myself, I just have to scout what this Pelipper is. I do know it has Tailwind and Scald, and now I know it has Hurricane, so it's got a bit of attack investment on it just because of the damage. That is so much damage, and I try to make a prediction over here, and it doesn't pay off for me because he's flying in the air, and I thought he would have gone into something else because, you know, I don't know why. So I'm just going to make an aggressive play over here. And, well, no, I'm just going to make the proper play. I'm not going to stay in. Pelipper is just, it can potentially one-hit KO me, or it can KO me at this range, and I decide it's not worth it. I need Shaman just for the Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is pretty scary. And he sends out his Empoleon over here, which is a fantastic play on his part because that's aggressive. That's pretty aggressive on his part. And over here, I do know that I have one turn, or he has one turn of Tailwind, so I decide, you know what, he might try to get out his rocks, or he might try to take off the rocks, but he ends up going for the Z move. And this is the second time Tyranitar has, or is going to be taking a Corkscrew Crash. And I don't know why, he just seems to attract that sort of attention from those people. So, second time in the season, we're going to be taking it. We're going to be taking it fairly well, not fantastically. And I tried to set up Stealth Rocks over here because I figured, you know, I might need my Stealth Rocks. But it actually pays off for me because he ends up withdrawing, sends out Big Bird, and I actually click Crunch at this moment because I did the calculations. I know that Big Bird is definitely not going to be able to, well, Big Bird has a chance of taking it because I don't know what this thing really wants to do. And what do you know? We knock out his Big Bird, which is fantastic because that's our way of really controlling the weather, and it's sort of our way of really controlling the game and the other aspects of it. So red flags are up. I'm switching out into Weezing. Weezing's my hard counter to this Garchomp, and I'm just going to send out Dr. Poison, looking all poisonous and whatnot. So we're going to easily eat up this Fire Fang surprisingly well. That is just whew, fantastic, and so that definitely tells me it's not Banded or it's not Life Orb. So we sort of eliminate a couple options over there. Could be a bulky Garchomp, could be a Choice Scarf Garchomp. Not really sure, so I decided to just go for a Flamethrower over here just because I know he's not going to be staying in with Garchomp. Garchomp does absolutely nothing, and we get a bit lucky over here with our prediction. He actually gets burnt, which is fairly unlucky because with the burn, that'll actually knock him out, and that is that's Weezing's first KO of the season. Way to go, Weezing, putting in that fine work. So now Lucario's in the battle, and I'm a bit worried because I don't know what this thing wants to do, so I decided to just go all out attacking it. And at this point of the match, I didn't realize the rain was up. Sort of a bonehead play by me. Not really that that observant. And I was like, why does that do so little? Is this a Solve Acid or what's going on over here? And silly me, I didn't realize that the rain is up. Flamethrower is a fire move, and you know, Bob's your uncle. That's what happens. So I decided to get this thing burnt. It's just going to be at like +2 at this moment. We're still going to be easily eat up any hits from this thing, unless if it carries Iron Tail, then it could be in a situation, but whew, does absolutely nothing. And that's a trade-off I'm willing to take because Lucario is just going to go down. It's just going to drop. Going to absolutely drop. Just get out of my face, Lucario. And we only take like 21 points of damage, which is fantastic from a +4 Lucario. That's something that I'm pretty proud of. At this moment, I'm just going to make a safe play. I'm going to switch out right into Shaman. I don't want to switch into Tyranitar because I might need it later on just for the sand. And potentially the Garchomp is still not in range of an Earthquake and whatnot. So I'm just going to put things in range. I'm going to see, like right now, I'm just going to scout out what this thing really wants to do and what it could potentially do. So I decided to stay in. just because I know he can't really take a lot of hits from Shaman, and he reveals the Braver, which is good bring on his part. Bad decision by me not realizing it, just because of course this thing would have Braver. It makes sense. I just didn't realize it at the point in time. So Tapu Koko is going to be taking a lot of damage, and that's in range for Earthquake to take down. I think after one hit of Life Orb, it was still in range, so I decided I'm just going to fire off a powerful Meteor Mash, just because it does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage to Garchomp. I really want to click Ice Punch, but wasn't man enough to do it. Sort of by myself. That would have been pretty lit. That would have been pretty lit if I could make that prediction, but making the middle ground play, going for the Meteor Mash, does a lot of damage, and just getting up from early on in the game, I realized, man, this Garchomp could potentially be scarfed, and that's frightening. So fortunately for me, that pays off, and the last time he switched out with Weezing, or versus Weezing, so I'm predicting this time he's going to switch out, so I can easily just go for a Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb could potentially poison this P2, which would be fantastic because that's pretty much GG at that point if I do poison it. And we can sort of get Sandslash to sweep over here because, spoiler alerts, this thing gets poison, which is unfortunate, rather hacksy. But like I said before, we can actually get Sandslash to come in and finish off the game once and for all, because like right now, Slash wins, and he actually forfeited at this point, as he had no way of really dealing with Weezing. He had no way of really dealing with Sandslash in the rain and Mega Metagross in the just Mega Metagross in general. So he decided to forfeit, and that will allow us to pick up a 5-0 victory over the Romford Rotoms. So GG to him. This was quite the battle to schedule and whatnot. Fortunately for us, we did schedule it, and it was a really entertaining match. He brought in some really cool things with like Tailwind Pelipper, Corkscrew, Crash, and Empoleon. I knew I was thinking in my prep, I was like, man, I don't know how Z Empoleon will do, and that's actually pretty frightening. That's actually pretty frightening. And he brought in the Swords Dance Lucario, so he brought in some cool stuff, some really scary stuff that I could really set up against myself. And fortunately for me, I really played it pretty well. If not just you know, humble, pray on. So that'll push us up to 5-1 or 4-1, one of the two. Let's see. I think it's 5-1. I'm pretty sure it's 5-1. So that'll push us up to 5-1, and we're looking pretty prime for the playoffs at this moment, as I'm just going to take a quick look at the standings. It really puts us on a firm hold of first place in the Tapu Koko division, just because we only have one loss, and the closest person to us is, I'm gonna have to say it's the Tampa Bay Luxrays, who are 3-3 right at this moment. So we're looking pretty good at this moment, and firmly in first place in the Moon Conference, thanks to our ridiculous differential. It's a bit weird looking at it in the Moon Conference, because a lot of teams are in the negatives, and there's two teams who are +11 and +16 or something like that. So that sort of works out for us, but I'm gonna get going. So thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week, and hopefully we can continue on our winning ways. We're taking on the New York Clinks, who is coached by Papa C, I believe, who's a pretty good battler, and also in the MPA, I believe. So the NPL, one of the two. NPA, I'm pretty sure it's the National Pokemon Association. So I think he's in that one, and I'm really looking forward to battling the New York Clinks, because they're one of the other teams that can set us apart. Just because I think he's he's also 4-1. So this will be a good way of indicating where we are in terms of skill level and competitiveness. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'll catch you guys next week. Have yourselves a good day, and thanks for watching. Peace.